What's up, He-Man fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, the co-host of I Have the Power, a He-Man podcast. Here with a look at the Mattel Masters of the Universe Revelation Masterverse figure of King Grayskull. So I just scored this figure last week. I couldn't wait to add it to my collection, as well as review it here on YouTube. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at the package details now. Here's the front bottom. It says Masters of the Universe Revelation, and of course, King Grayskull. On the side of the packaging, it says King Grayskull, heroic ancestor of He-Man. On the opposite side, we get some really stellar artwork of King Grayskull. On the top, it says Masterverse, and we get a partial window. On the bottom, we get some product information with a diagram of how to change out the heads. On the back bottom, we get headshots of the other figures available in this wave. We also get a brief bio of King Grayskull. It says, since the dawn of Eternia, there has always been a hero to protect the planet's sacred magic. The first of those heroes, and the first to hold the mantle of He-Man, was King Grayskull. Now resting alongside the other heroes in Preternia, King Grayskull holds the key for the adventurers to return to Eternia and save the magic from vanishing into oblivion. And here is the figure as seen through the front window. He's holding one of the sword accessories, the other is over here. Here are the alternate hands, here's the alternate head. Right here you see the shield, and I really do like how this cape is spread out behind him. This looks really good. However, now I think it's time to bust this figure out of the package and see what's inside. Here is the cardboard tray with the rock wall art. Here is the figure removed from the outer packaging, but still in the inner plastic. And here we have King Grayskull out of the package and ready to rumble. I have a couple of tiny complaints, but for the most part, this figure is a collector's dream. There is so much to like here, so let's go ahead and get a closer look at the loose details now. First up, we have the sword accessories, and these are sculpted very well. Love the paint on these. I like how reflective the gold is on this one. Purple is also reflective on this one. That looks really good. This one has maybe a little bit of a rough paint job here. Yeah, but that's still not a problem. Still looks very nice. Obviously, the alternate head. Actually, I think I'm going to put him on my shelves with this one. I think this look, this is more indicative of his personality. So I'm going to show you how to change the heads out and put the cape back on in this video. Alternate hands. We have like a relaxed hand here and a fist. And then we have this really cool looking shield. Like the paint on that. So yeah, lots of accessories, and we have yet to talk about the cape, so let's go ahead and do that now. So I pop the head off, no problems there. And now I'm going to come around here, and you can see there are these little Velcro pieces here between the figure and the outer part of the cape. I was able to get the cape detached with minimal problems. Once you get these Velcro pieces pulled away, which, again, I would take care there, but I didn't have any problems getting the cape off. I understand the necessity of this tag, but I wish it weren't so prominent. But it is obscured once you put it on the figure. I really like this material here. You know, it looks like a hide. The kind of thing that, you know, an ancient king would wear. So I like that. I've never been a huge fan of this gauzy type material, but I understand that's done to keep figures at a certain price point, because if you use a more expensive material, obviously it drives the price of the figure up. I do love this bendable wire that they put in this. So that helps you, like, you know, put the wire and the cape around the figure. I like the bottom of the cape, so I'm a huge fan of the way they did this, but primarily I just wish that this tag weren't so big. So before I replace the cape, I thought I'd give you a look at the back of the figure. Obviously a very familiar body mold. Looks really good. But I'm going to go ahead and put the cape back on as well as the alternate head sculpt. So I was able to get the alternate head sculpt on without too much of a problem. It took a little bit of elbow grease, but I was able to get it on. While I'm here, I just want to go ahead and talk about the articulation of the head. Obviously with this cape and this ponytail back here, that does hinder articulation a little bit. And even if you don't have the cape on, then you've got to worry about these front strands of hair here. So, understand what you're getting into with this figure. I think that you have to choose aesthetics over functionality here. That's just me. Some people, may be a little dissatisfied with that, but I'm willing to accept, just because of the way the character is designed, that I think Mattel did the best that they could. Now, in terms of aesthetics, I think it looks outstanding. The skin looks realistic. The paint job is really good. You can see very tight paint job on the eyes here and the eyebrows. The hair looks really good. I love these individual strands here. I love how that looks. Paint application on this part back here. All of that looks really good. So I'm very satisfied. I just wanted to let collectors who like to do dynamic posing know that, you really have to understand what you're dealing with when you have a head sculpt like this, that there will be some limitations when it comes to articulation. Let's take a look at the lower body now, and there's a lot to like here as well. I like all these individual straps on the boots. Those look really good. Ankle articulation. There is some side-to-side pivoting, so I appreciate that. Movement at the top of the boot. Movement at the knee here. Good articulation at the knee. That looks really good. Swiveling in the upper quadriceps. So that looks good as well. Really like the musculature. King Grayskull, he hasn't skipped leg day. He's been playing with the big boy rack when it comes to the gym. He's been doing those power squats. So musculature looks really good. Paint applications look really good. Yeah, so very pleased with the way that looks. Let's have a look at the torso, and this is the kind of torso you would expect. This looks really good. One of the things I've noticed with at least some of the Masterverse figures, I think the skin on these looks better than a lot of other figures on the market. You can see it's not like completely smooth. Like it almost has like pores, the way that skin looks. I mean, unless you're a baby, but you can see like all the musculature here, and with that, like the way they've done the skin here, that just looks very good. In terms of articulation, you do have lower torso swiveling. And despite the vest here, you do have good movement in the upper torso, right around the, the xiphoid process here. That looks really good. Rocking him back, there's still detail that goes up into that joint, so I certainly appreciate that. So no complaints with the torso. So let's get a look at the arms now, and lots of good definition in the muscles here. See the, the very defined triceps, biceps here. He's obviously been hitting the preacher curls. So lots of good definition there, as well as the forearms. You see all these striated muscles here. Good movement at the wrists overall, and you do have the hinge that you would expect with these. However, these metal bands here, despite the fact that they look really good, I like the paint on that, they do hinder the articulation just a little bit. So be aware of that. In terms of articulation, you get the bicep swivel. You can get the arms to go out that far. So I appreciate that. So lots of posing options there. Now I'm going to be careful because of the cape. You can get the arms to go around 360 degrees, but obviously be very careful if you have the cape on. You don't want to damage those, Velcro straps in the back. But in terms of the arms, no complaints. One other little minor criticism that I wanted to point out for people who want to pose the figure with the shield. I popped on the relaxed hand, and the shield is supposed to go over the hand like this. Now, you can get it in fairly well, and it will stay on the figure. I will say that. But there's this little lip here on the shield, and it makes it kind of difficult to get the shield on the figure securely because this metal wristband pushes against that part of the shield. So you can still get him to hold it. You know, that's not a problem. And I'm not going to pose him with the shield anyway, so that's not a huge deal to me, but I did want to point that out for people. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend to do the same. Stay tuned at the end of the video for some articulation shots, and also remember to catch me on the Multiverse Musings vidcast available right here on YouTube. You can also catch up with me on TikTok as The Emerald Enthusiast. And I'll be back to the internet with more Masters of the Universe related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been The Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.